Hi guys, this is Austin. So today on my Pontiac Fiero, I'm going to show you how to install window felt guides. You can buy these for about $30. These ones go on the inside. In addition, I'm going to show you how to install the outer dew wipes and the inner dew wipes. The reason why you want to reinstall both is because both of them have felt guides on them, the dew wipes and the actual just alone felt guides themselves. If you don't reinstall these, then you could scratch your windows, or your actual rubber dew wipe is going to get cracked and old, and it might let a lot of water inside of your door, which would then rust it out. So here are all our parts. This is the dew wipe for the left hand side. If you hold it upside down facing you, then this side is going to be actually at the front of the door. These guys are the inside felt guides. Now the dew wipes themselves have some felt pads on them too. So what you'll commonly get is some scratches on your windows. I don't know if you can see them here. There's a scratch right there. See that one? Some scratches on your windows if these parts wear out. So you're going to want to reinstall the factory dew wipes with the felt guides on them. That's on the outside of the car. And then there's some inside felt guides too. My inside ones were not really worn out, but I bought them anyway because I was going to be inside the door. I might as well just do it all at once. So for the inside door skin, on the door handle, or the pull handle, you're going to want to pry back this guy, revealing a big screw hole. And there are two more big Phillips heads on this thing. So take that guy off. I'm going to pry this Fiero, oh my gosh, Fiero, oh, whoa, almost hit me in the eye. That reveals a little screw back there. And then what you're going to do next is you might need to pull this handle back and you reveal a little another cap. You're going to want to pry that off. Right. Oh, there we go. Alright, how about that? Careful not to lose your little lock piece that's kind of free hanging in there. And I don't believe the door skin is held in by anything in particular. There's a few plastic clips on the inside, so you're basically just going to pull off every little corner that you see. There you go. There we go. There we go. Oh, one more. There we go. Alright. Door skin is free. Now you're going to have to maneuver this guy here in through the door skin and then pull it all the way off. Next step, there's these two rubber masks, I guess you'd call them, that actually help with the window. 3 screws on the one close to the mirror, and 2 screws, is it 2? Yeah, 2 screws on the one close to the end of the door. Right? You're going to take off this whole rubber mask here. That one isn't even screwed down. That's nice. Next step, you're going to want to take your mirror off. Go ahead and put your screws back in the holes, because I always lose them, and I hope that you don't. There are 2 screws on the inside of the door. One there, and I don't know if you can see this, but there's one way back in there. There it is. Hold the mirror on. They're both 10 millimeters. So I would suggest using a gear wrench. This is a little ratchet and a wrench, 10 millimeter. You could use the head of this potentially to break them loose. So what I have here is a thin profile wrench with a it's a 1/4 inch drive, the 10 millimeter socket on. So that should work pretty good for getting the mirror off. Optionally, you can take off the window trim, or sorry, this is the inner dew wipe mount. There's 4 screws on it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. Okay. Now, what you're going to want to do is I guess that guy falls off. And this is your inside rubber wipe. Alright, so we freed up a little bit more room in here. You can get the wrench underneath the, there we go, underneath the mirror. Once those are off, the mirror just pops out. And I would recommend putting the nuts back on the end there just so you don't lose them. So you're going to have 3 screws that are accessible. Just a regular screwdriver on the dew wipes, one starting on the outside here. One right here, you're going to have to put a screwdriver through this hole. And then another right here, same deal. Just unscrew those. And there's also going to be 2 inaccessible screws. And you're going to have to get in behind the window to get to them. There is one actually right here through this hole. One right here. Now if you have it, you can go ahead and use Rodney Dickman's tool to get these out. The first step to doing that would be to rip the old dew wipe out. Now this one's not in bad shape, so it's going to be kind of harder to rip out. But you can just go ahead and start ripping the old one out as well as you can. Rip that out. I would take out these felt guide right here and here. They're 10 millimeter bolts. Go ahead and get those out so it loosens up a little play. So since I don't have Rodney Dickman's tool, after you loosen the felt guides up, there's a little bit of play in here. Now, until you rip out the old, what you can out of the old felt guide, you're going to break it probably doing that. So if any of your screws are frozen, thankfully none of mine were, but my other door was. What I did was I took my grinder with a cutting wheel on it, and I got down inside of the door between the glass and the frame of the door, and I cut the head off of the screws. And then after that, I came in through the back with a drill bit, and I drilled through the hole, or sorry, I drilled through the screw and made another hole there for the next for the next dew wipe. Now if you don't have Rodney Dickman's tool like me, then I would do the same thing for both of these middle screws, one here and one here, looks like. I would grind the head off. Be very, very careful not to touch the glass with your grinder. You're going to have to get your cutting wheel in there to get the head, and then drill through the back of this area, drill through the part of the door frame, and then drill through the screw. If you really want to put them back in, you're going to need the tool to do that. I'm just going to leave them out because I don't want to have to worry about it on the next install. So now we're going to put the felt guides in, the new ones. In order to do that, we got to get the old ones out. I would have the dew wipe off for this so there's some play in the window. But what we're going to do is take a cutting wheel and a grinder, and yeah, I know we're going to cut. You see this track where that felt guide went? We're going to cut right at the edge of the frame there, down into it, and then we're also going to cut right at the edge of that the line that the washer made on the top. So as you can see, I cut 2 notches there with my cutting wheel. What I'm going to do now is cut this with some tin snips, maybe some wire cutters, whatever works for you, maybe even the cutting wheel itself. I don't think I have enough room for that myself. So I cut those 2 plates apart, and all I'm going to do is take some bent nose pliers, doesn't really matter what pliers you use, and bend these 2 pieces back. That should open us a window big enough to get the felt guide out. Now I get the felt, I'm not going to show this, but I get the felt guide out by using a magnet tool and my bent nose pliers. And you're going to have to actually take the felt guide, rotate it inside this hole, and pull it out the top in order to get it out of this little window here. It might take you about 10 or 15 minutes to figure it out. It's like a puzzle, but if you can't get it, then I would just go ahead and cut a little bit more off, or maybe even bend these tabs back here, or sorry, bend this corner back with your bent nose pliers till you have enough clearance to get it out. Here I was able to turn it around, angle it just right so I could pull it right out of the hole. And there it is. We're going to get your new ones in the same exact way, just backwards. And if you can see on the second one, I did have to pry out this part a little bit. This felt guide back in here with the correct orientation. Real quick, you want this tab to be facing up and back, just like that. What we're going to do is take a magnet tool and put it in there, and then we're going to use the magnet tool to help you line the bolt back up with the hole in the bolt. You're going to use the magnet tool, should be able to bring the tab up through the slotted hole. And there we go. So I've got the magnet tool holding it in place, and I thread the bolts through. Now I would recommend pulling this tab all the way back as far as you can, partially because the new dew weight that we installed is going to be a little stiffer and have a little less play since it's brand new. So now I'm going to close up the gaps from the tabs of the metal that we cut, and I'm just going to leave them like that because this is in here pretty secure in case I ever need to change them again. Optionally up to you. You could weld a bead in here just to close that gap up. If you do that, I would leave this a little loose, keep it threaded in but loose, so that you don't accidentally weld the window track guide to the frame. Now we're going to line up the outer dew wipe with the holes, and I'm only going to put in those 3 screws that were accessible before, just so I don't have to take them out again. One thing that might help you be able to line up the screw with the screw hole inside and go through the new dew wipe is put a magnet tool on your screwdriver to magnetize it. Try not to drop the screws best you can. Yeah, and that should be it. So just put everything back together in the opposite order. And just keep in mind that this is just how I chose to do it as a disclaimer. If something else might work better for you. You might be able to get Rodney Dickman's tool in order to get those screws out behind the window. I just decided to cut them off. That was something I chose to do. If that works for you, it's good. I'm not actually reinstalling them though because I don't want to have to worry about it next time. So there it is, all installed. Let me know if you guys have any comments or questions. You can also check out my other videos on the vertical door kit or my headlight install as well.